What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com, your home for the 2020 World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. We got some exciting news today. AJ Pollock and Jimmy Nelson both activated from the injured list today. Edwin, Uceta, and Alex Vesia were the two that were sent down, and this is a big deal for the Dodgers. And you might think Jimmy Nelson, not one of the top three relievers, AJ Pollock, not one of the studs of the Dodgers. What's the big deal? And the answer comes in just how much this takes advantage of the Dodgers' depth. This just basically both of these moves, both in the bullpen and offensively, they take everybody and they move them down a peg. So guys that maybe shouldn't be trusted with the eighth inning now only need to be trusted with the seventh inning. And hitters who your best pinch hitter coming off the bench is now a much better option. So take offensively, for example. AJ Pollock returns. He primarily will take over in left field. That allows Max Muncy to play first base. It allows Chris Taylor to play second base. And so in a perfect world, you've got Albert Pujols on the bench. You've got Matt Beatty on the bench. You've got Yoshi Tsutsugo on the bench and Austin Barnes. All of a sudden, things start to normalize a little bit. Now, Albert Pujols isn't forced into an everyday starting role. He can be your pinch hitter off the bench. Matt Beatty, same thing. Those guys aren't guys that you're counting on. Whereas Pollock, who I know a lot of fans aren't huge fans of, but he had a great 2020 season. We've seen what he can do when he's healthy. It's just an upgrade. And then in the bullpen, it's an even greater deal. You add Jimmy Nelson, who I would say is probably the fifth best reliever the Dodgers have behind Jansen, Trinan, Gonzalez, and Price. I would put Jimmy Nelson fifth. And he replaces Vesia and Uceta, who are two guys that, if we're all being honest, many people think, hey, long-term, they might be answers out there in the bullpen, but in short-term, we're not really sure if we trust them in leverage situations. Now you have Nelson. Nelson can be the guy that you go to in a close game in the eighth inning after a back-to-back where Jansen and Trinan pitched the night before, and you feel a lot better about that. And then all of a sudden, guys like Mitch White move much further down the pecking order. Bickford, Nate Jones, those types of folks are now the first guy into a game. And you know, personally, I've come to trust Bickford and Jones to some degree. Even White and Uceta had a nice little string of outings. Not to say, hey, they're perfect, they're going to be high leverage guys, but they're guys that you don't hate. You know, there were lots of moments today where it was like Dennis Santana, Alex Vesia, Mitch White. These guys come into games and there was no confidence. Now they're coming into games where if they're in there, it's probably because it's not that close or it's so early in the game that you got to do what you got to do. So I think it's a big deal for the Dodgers to be adding Nelson and Pollock. Of course, Tony Gonsolin's return is just around the corner. Most people are expecting him to take his turn in the rotation at the major league level next time around, which means no more bullpen games, which means now David Price, who's your fourth best, maybe third best, maybe second best reliever in the bullpen, he can now be a reliever. He can go back to a role of being a leverage guy, and you're not taxing the bullpen. So the Mitch Whites of the world, the Bickfords of the world, the Joneses of the world, they're not going to be expected to get 4, 5, 6 outs every time they go. Rather, you can throw a starting pitcher out there expecting that he's going to give you at least 4, maybe 5, and in the case of Buehler, Kershaw, Bauer, Urias, probably at least 6. I know Buehler has gone over 6 innings in all 13 starts. It just relieves the tension on the bullpen. All of a sudden, guys aren't pitching without rest. Guys aren't pitching in unusual, uncomfortable situations. They're pitching in roles and situations that they're used to. And so, again, the Dodgers are getting healthier. Brusdar Graterol should be back at some point. Corey Seager should be back at some point. But for today, Jimmy Nelson returns. AJ Pollock returns. Tony Gonsolin's return is just around the corner. They replace Vesia. They replace Uceta, and I would guess maybe Mitch White is the guy that gets sent down once Tony Gonsolin comes. But this is a big deal for the Dodgers. They're getting healthy. The bench is filling out. The guys that should be pinch hitters are now back to being pinch hitters and not everyday role, and that's a big deal. What do you think? Let us know. Who's a bigger addition to the Dodgers right now? Is it Pollock or is it Nelson? Let us know in the comments below. As always, we appreciate you following. We're going to do a live post-game show here Friday night. It'll be me, maybe solo, maybe with Matt Moreno, to be determined there. But we appreciate you joining us. Make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell. We'll see you on Friday for the live post-game show. And as always, enjoy the Brave series. Go Dodgers. Have a great weekend.
The best team holding a trophy high in the air. The Los Angeles Dodgers, champions of the baseball world.